Hey everybody, how's it going? It's Meaty here, and I had talked about in the past about starting maybe some tech tip type videos where we talk about different things like headsets and microphones, different computer programs, recording programs, things of that sort, that I wanted to share maybe some information that I got along the way with you guys, and maybe it could help out, maybe just be informative, maybe even a little entertaining. So I wasn't quite ready for this to start, this series, but something happened with my PlayStation 3s, and the idea came up that this would be a great topic. It kind of goes right along the lines of what I was thinking about with this series. So with that being said, let's get started. All right, so what I have here is two PS3s, and as I'm gonna start disassembling these as we talk. So this is my old PS3, one of my original ones that I ever got, and it broke a long time ago. I repaired it 3 or 4 times and then finally had enough with it. This was my PS3 that I'd used for about 2 years straight with DVD, playing Blu Rays and DVDs and games and everything else. And just recently, what happened was, out of the blue, I hadn't played on console in a while, and out of the blue, it locked up. It wouldn't work anymore, and I thought maybe it was just a Blu Ray player, and it turned out that. So what I did was I took my Blu Ray player out of my old unit here, and I swapped it out thinking it was just a Blu Ray player, and it turned out that didn't fix the problem. So a few days later on the internet, or on Twitter actually, excuse me, I saw people talking about that one of the new updates from Sony, if you had an aftermarket, if you've put an aftermarket hard drive in your PS3, then it would lock it up. It would brick, what they call brick your system, and I think that's what happened. So I took the older Blu Ray out of this one and put it in there, and I could definitely tell when I switched them that they were different generations of Blu Ray players. So what I want to do is I want to swap it back, and then I'm going to hook it up to the internet and download the new or improved update from Sony that apparently they fixed so it doesn't lock up your system anymore. So that's why we're doing this. So what I'm doing now is basically I have some regular, what I call technical screwdrivers here. They're smaller screwdrivers. They're not like normal screwdriver sizes. This is a Phillips number 1 screwdriver, and as far as the numbers go, Phillips 1 and 2. And then the other one that I'm using, the flat blade, is a 4.0. So those are numbers in relation to technical screwdrivers. Now, the other thing about this topic is the PS3 has kind of run it's run its life cycle as the primary console for Sony. You all know that Sony PS4 is coming out. Well, everyone's still going to have their PS3s, right? So if the warranty is probably out on them, right? If it's over the warranty and you're gonna maintain your PS3, why bother either getting rid of it or just outright replacing it if some single component goes wrong with it? Why not try and fix it yourself to save yourself some money? So what I've done is I've taken off the top cover, and we'll go into more detail when I take this one apart because I was talking. But if you can see right here, in here, this big thing here is the Blu Ray player, and then under here houses like the power supply and different components. Underneath is the main board. What I'm going to do is I'm going to remove this Blu Ray player like so, take it out and set it aside, okay? And for now I'm going to set this one aside. Okay, so it's very important not to go tearing into something that may still be covered under warranty by the manufacturer. And this little area right here, it might be kind of hard to see. See, it's one of the stands. It's a rubber piece, and there's usually a seal over that. Well, I've taken my seal off because these have long since gone past their warranty. And they've trust me, they've lasted me a long time. It's not like that these things just crapped out on me for no reason. But there's no reason for me to try and get somebody else to repair it. Now, behind here is what's called a Torx screw head. Now, a Torx screw, if you look at it, it almost looks like a star. And what it's supposed to be is it's just supposed to be unique enough to try and keep people from getting in there. But you can buy Torx screwdrivers almost anywhere, you know, at any supply store that you would buy tools from. I bought a whole set here. You can see there's a whole set of these special Torx tips. Maybe if I grab a bigger one, you can see, I don't know if you'll be able to see that, you can see that the head is different. It looks like a star shape. So that's what holds this main top part on. And once you take this off, it's actually transparent. Hello! Transparent. You don't know that till you actually take it off. And then you have exposed to the actual screws that you can take this unit apart, okay? Now, again, I thought this was kind of fitting just because of the timing, you know? What if you're gonna have your PS3 for another couple of years even, and you're gonna get a PS4? Sure, that's fine. But you want this thing to continue to play. What if your hard drive goes out? What if your Blu-ray player goes out and you use this as not only your gaming console but your Blu-ray player, because that's what I use it for. This is the only Blu-ray players I own because I have a slim PS3. This one here was the one I've run for 2 or 3 years as my primary gaming and Blu-ray player, and it's served me well. And actually, it's still working. It wasn't my fault that it stopped working. It was the Sony update patch. And because this one I have a 500 gigabyte hard drive that I had put in here, that's what apparently the patch but didn't work out so well for the ones that had the aftermarket hard drives. So you can see all the screws. There's actually arrows. Probably gonna be hard to see, but arrows pointing to each of the holes, right? So there is actually 1, 2, 3, 4 on this side, 1, 2, 3 on that side. All right. And if they don't come all the way out, just hold everything together, turn it over like that, and you can get the screw head out. Now these actually fold up toward the front of the unit. These always seem to get hung up on this outside edge over here. You gotta try not to force it too much. I usually take my flat blade screwdriver to help me get it unhooked. I slide it along the edge a little bit. Try not to break it. There we go. So that little crack that you heard wasn't breaking. That was the little clip that was holding it back there. So now you've taken this off and exposed the Blu-ray player on here. Now, getting into more detail, you can see, look, this is different. This is black. The other one was the same color as this. This is a newer PS3. You've got a single pin connector. It's a 4-pin connector right here. Is it 4 pins? 4 or 5 pin connector right there. Don't just take this thing off really fast. You gently lift it up because there's a flat ribbon cable underneath here, all right? You want to take that off. Now, these ribbon cables, they slide into these little holders. You can see this blue one here. You see that blue one? And if you look and see the darker brown strip across the top, it's like a little gate. See how it flips up and down right there? It's a little lever. So what happens is when you slide that flat cable in like this, the flat cable just sits in there, this lever basically folds down and just squeezes. It applies a little bit of pressure. It's not anything more than that. You can see that this Blu-ray player versus this one, different. They're different. This is all newer stuff. That's why I'm going to get the newer one back together with where it was before. Now, make sure you orientate the unit correctly. That will help you put your cable back in right, because the cable is actually fitted. So the blue side facing out toward you, what you want to do is you want to slide your flat cable in there, and as soon as it's in there, with your other hand, I know you guys can't see this, but with your other hand you want to flop down the compression holder. This is just going to take, it's a little bit harder because normally I don't have a camera going and I'm in a little bit different position. All right, there we go. So I just folded it back down. Now you make sure that everything's going to be sitting back straight in here. All right, that's good. Take your 4, is it 1, 2, 3? Take your 4-pin connector and plug it back in, which is, I'm sure that's probably the power. That's probably the power, because these aren't like the cables to bring the video data out. Plug that back in. You got your flat cable back in. You take the head top unit of this, hook it in the front, hose it down like that, and you take your screws. Now there's one screw out of all these that is short, and the other ones are all the same length. So once you put these all back in, you can tighten them up. If you look, it's easy to identify where the short screw goes. See right here? Can you see that this is narrow? See, versus how fat that is and how narrow that is? That's where the short screw goes, right here. And there's an S. There's an S with the arrow that goes in there, okay? Simple enough. Put that all back together, get your Phillips head screwdriver out, snug it all up. What you want to do is you never want to tighten down one screw. When you have multiple screws like this on any kind of electronics, right? You want to get them all started before you crank any of them down, because what may go in here may not go in on the other side as opposed to it. So always just start getting your screws, make sure they all get started, get them halfway down or so, and then once you've got them all that you know that they're threaded in and you're not going to cross thread and mess up the threads, because these are just plastic threads. What these are threading into is just plastic. You want to make sure you got that all like that. Okay, well, that's tight. Alright, get this all nice and tight. That's tight. It's good. You don't need to kill these things. It's not like it's hanging off the back of a truck bouncing down the road, right? It's just sitting on your table or desk or whatever it is. Alright, nice and tight. All those screws are back in. We get the top cover here. And this one, it has little hooks to go in. So you offset it a little bit to, you offset it a little bit to one side, and then it slides up, locks back into place. You take that special Torx head screw again, put it back together. It's in there a little bit, so you got to kind of hold it with your finger and the screwdriver as you guide it into the hole. Make sure it gets all the way up in there. Snug that up tight. Then you can take this little rubber piece. Again, if you stand this up on the edge like this, that rubber piece is the third piece. All right. That's it. I swapped the Blu-ray player back out. Now I just got to hook it up and try it out. While we're here, just below this area we are working, right here, is where the hard drive is. So that's another thing. If you ever want to upgrade your hard drive, these are a little bit tricky to get into because it's just like stuck in there. I don't know if I have a thin enough, there we go. I don't know if I have a thin enough screwdriver. But right there, you can see that I just exposed. Look at all that dust. There is one locking screw right here. It's blue. Can you see that little blue screw right there? Once you unscrew that, takes off the cover, the hard drive slides sideways and pulls out. And you can replace it with, it's like the same size as a laptop, the hard drives for these things. So I needed to do this. I thought I would share it with you guys as far as a little tech tip, because you guys are going to want to extend the lives of your PS3s. Even though PS4 is coming out, you know, the games, the Blu-ray capability of these is want it to last a long time, and you don't have to pay somebody to make minor repairs on it for you. So hope you guys enjoyed it. Maybe a little bit of information, and I'll try and come up with some interesting topics for you guys in the future. So thanks for watching, guys. See you next time.